Now, we're going to move on to leadership. Because leaders, promise I'm going somewhere with all this, I really do. Leaders have a lot of the same qualities as a good king. Still with me? I know, right? That's a trip. Leadership shares a lot of the same qualities as a good king. Now, I didn't say as a king in general, but it does. Because you can have good kings and you can have good leaders. You can have good presidents and you can have good leaders. You can have bad kings and bad leaders. So on and such forth. Right? You get that. That's an easy concept. There are people who are good at things, and there are people who are bad at things. There are people who are great leaders. There are people who suck at leadership. Comment below if you know or have to follow a really sucky leader. Hey, it happens. That's just the way the ball bounces sometimes. But a really good leader has the same methodologies, same thought process, same traits as a good king or a good president. Now I'm going to flash a picture here on the screen for those of you who aren't watching this via video or who are listening to the podcast. Go to my website, www.thefallibleman.com, and check out our Every Man a King t-shirt. If you're watching on video, it's going to be right over here. Or over here. Still bad at this whole left and right thing when I'm recording. Probably be over. Ooh, backwards. Bad at mirrors. So bad. I'll flash that t-shirt up there because I believe in this principle. I believe that everybody can be a king. Now, you can blame this on the TV generation. We are obsessed with royalty. I said it earlier, we're obsessed with the idea of kings and royalty and power like that. And so we have shows like, you're going to laugh at me, The Princess Diaries. Right? Young girl finds out that she's actually the daughter of a prince who had her out of wedlock during a relationship when he was having a fling in the U.S. from his own nation. He came here to go to college and ended up falling in love with somebody, and they had a kid, and he had to go back and rule, and blah, blah, blah. So he dies, and all of a sudden, spoiler alert, sorry, she becomes the princess of this small little tiny nation, right? Great flick. Anne Hathaway, Julie Andrews. Love Julie Andrews. She's a classy woman. And a phenomenal actress. Fun for the whole family. Watch it with your kids. If you don't have kids, watch it anyways. It's a fun, feel-good flick. But, I mean, that's one, right? Here we go with King Ralph. All right? Comment below if you're old enough to have seen King Ralph. Let me know. Shout it out. How about Mr. Deeds? Adam Sandler. Gotta love it. Not a king, but he becomes a CEO of a multi-billion-dollar empire overnight. Great show. I actually really enjoyed it because Adam Sandler worked really hard to try and rise to the level to lead the company and be the head of that company. There are just years and years of it. My favorite, most low-hanging fruit on this one is King Arthur, but not some of the newer, trippier versions of King Arthur, although I enjoy most of the Arthur legends. But the old Sword in the Stone, the Disney version, right? Where a young boy who happens to be worthy, named Arthur, pulls a magical sword out of a stone, and lo and behold, he becomes the king. Talk about thrust into a position, right? Kind of crazy. Really cool, though. So we're kind of all obsessed with this, but I'm obsessed with it for a different reason. I think every man is born with the inherent makeup to be a king. And I think you can be the king in your own life. I think the biggest difference between a king and an individual person is the clothes. Years ago, Disney made the Three Musketeers, and it had Kiefer Sutherland and Charlie Sheen, and just an incredible cast of actors. It was really, really fun to watch. And the Porthos character at one point is talking to D'Artagnan and very crassly says, "There is no difference between a queen and a barmaid in the dark." Now, it was a crass comment at the time, guys, but there's a lot of truth to it. You take away the trappings, right? What makes a queen or a king? We put them in fancy clothes, we put a crown on their head, we put some jewelry on them. They're the king. It's really quite that simple.
What's happening, guys? My name is Brent, and I am the Fallible Man. This has been a clip from one of our podcasts. Hey, if you enjoyed the clip, go over to our YouTube channel and check out the full video podcast available exclusively on YouTube. And if you're more of an audio guy, hey, our podcast is on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, and I think pretty much everywhere else you want to listen. Thanks for hanging out with us, and I hope you enjoyed the clip.